This is the way to paint a miniature. Starting off with the right primer on your miniature can save you a lot of time in the painting process, and that's exactly what I'm going to do with Bo Katan from Star Wars Shatterpoint. Yeah, I'm only painting one miniature instead of a squad now. People seem to want to see that instead on the channel, so let's get to the table and start painting Bo Katan. Alright, so thinking I'm going to save myself some time by priming this in crystal blue primer, I'm going to realize really quickly that it may not have been the best idea. However, sometimes having a different kind of underpainting or a different primer makes you work a little bit harder on your miniature, but still saving time and getting what you want done quickly for the table. Now, at first I saw like Bo Katan, Ahsoka, and the two Clan Kreese Mandalorians had blue armor and blue clothing, and I'm like, oh, I'll just do crystal blue on them all and it'll save time. As I started painting with the Necromancer cloak, I'm like, wait a minute, all the underclothing is this color. So should I have, and I don't have Necromancer cloak anymore. I don't even think they have Necromancer cloak as a primer, but I should have started maybe with a darker gray instead, and then went on to just painting the blue armor and the other color armors, because there's barely no blue, frankly, on these miniatures, and I was a little surprised actually. So yeah, so I started painting anyways, but I'm like, you know what, this is gonna force me into making sure I thin out my paints and get the right spots and the right colors that I want and all that. Anyway, so moving on. Here we go. We're doing a single miniature out of the squad from Ahsoka Tano. This is Bo Katan, like I mentioned before. And if you've noticed, she's not wearing her helmet. It's on the ground. So I decided to do this with some of the characters in this game that if they had a helmet or a choice of helmet or head, I decided to put the helmet on the ground just to have both of them there. And some people are like, oh no, you can't do that, look, they're in a battle, they have to have their helmet. Well, Bo Katan removes her helmet at one point. Some of the clones, I mean, they remove their helmets at some point in the story as well, and it's fun to have different options as well. Plus, it kind of makes them easier to spot on the battlefield, because Bo Katan and one of the Clan Kreese Mandalorians kind of look almost identical, so having the helmet off makes it a lot easier. The next color I'm using is Armor Gray. This is a Zombicide Invader paint. This is a color that was unique to that set, which Army Painter did a lot of in the past, and I've mentioned this before, and it's kind of annoying because you're trying to have their collection of paints. Now I'm wondering with the new Fanatics War paints, if they're going to include all these extra unique colors in their system. That's something I might have to go take a look at their thing and see if it's something that they're going to be thinking of, like just like this amber skin here. Now they said I think they're going to have skin tones in there, so is this going to be a rehash again of these skin tones that you buy separately? I'm a little confused by the War Paints Fanatics. I'm going to have to go read a little bit more on it, because I really want to make sure that I'm not going to double up all my paint. Now, am I going to buy some of them? If I don't have the color, sure. As long as they have some sort of new chart that's updated, it says, okay, here's the new Warpaint Fanatics paints, this is the old colors, or these are all new colors. Whatever is new, I will probably pick up, because I would like to have some of the newer colors for sure, and test them out eventually, so that would be fun. It kind of sucks Army Painter didn't send me some of their demo stuff, like I've seen a whole bunch of people, but maybe because it was only European people, maybe Americans got it, I don't know, Canadians, I don't know, I didn't see many Canadians get it. I know I didn't for sure get it. It would have been nice to get a little gift like that and try out some of their new paints and have, you know, have a noob like me test it out. Just a small channel, but I'm growing every single day, and some days it's a little harder to decide, okay, do I want to make videos or not, or do I just want to paint for fun? But I know that you guys, whoever is watching and whoever is subscribed to my channel, if you're not, please hit that subscribe button, because I know about 80% of you are not. And if I got those 80%, I would be rising through the roof probably right now. That you just hit that subscribe button. It is free, guys, and you don't have to watch all my videos eventually. You can watch what you want, but just subscribe, okay? That would be much appreciated. All right, now we're using some Void Shield blue here. This is a beautiful blue color, and what I did is I just did a whole bunch of edge highlighting with it on her armor. And this is another fun part here, the shining silver. Okay, so I'm using this because I wanted her armor to be a little bit brighter than the others on the table. But what's fun, again, I'm covering up all that blue. As you can see, there's pretty much not going to be any blue left as an undercoating or as a primer, but it's still fun because, you know, it makes it that I'm not just using speed paints all the time. It's not always the same kind of painting techniques. I'm actually trying different stuff. I'm going back to the basics. And this one I will shade because I found that the shading kind of needed it, even though sometimes when you dilute your paints enough, I didn't want that blue to pop too much through the paints. But it was a good base coat. Crystal Blue is a beautiful primer that dries nicely. It's got a nice matte finish to it. You can work with it easily. It gets covered up pretty well, except for like her hair there a while ago with that yellow or that rigid brownish yellow color. That was a little bit more. I had to do a couple layers of it. But again, it was thinned down paint. You take your time. You know, again, it's not though going into super tons of details where this miniature is going to take me 6 hours to paint. No, I want her on the table quickly and I want it done quickly, so I'm not going to go and pluck out every little nook and cranny on this jetpack and say, okay, this little button here has this color, this here, that there, and not every little chip in this and that. I mean, I'm doing the best I can. And I'm hoping that you guys, if you're playing Shatterpoint, are following along with this. And this is from the core box. So if you got into Shatterpoint, you got into the core box, here you go. Also, just a quick thing, but if you'd like to see the terrain eventually painted on the channel with airbrushing, let me know in the comments if you guys would be interested in seeing the terrain being painted. I also 3D printed some beautiful terrain. I don't know if you saw that shorts video from Corvus Games Terrain. It was great to print out. The printer handled it really well, and the details on those things are amazing. Everything they give you, plus you can print more and more and more and more. You don't have to print just the basics. You can add on to that, so you can make like a whole base for Shatterpoint. You can use it for Legion too if you want, by the way, and maybe even other miniature tabletop games. But I found it really cool because they made it for bases of 40 millimeters. Now right now there are 3 miniatures in this game that have 50 millimeter bases, and they're having a hard time being on those anyways on the things, but it still works. Now as you can see, I'm shading pretty much the entire miniature now with Nuln Oil, and at this moment I realized, whoops, I forgot to do the thrusters, the off the jetpacks there. But look at this Banshee Brown that I'm using for the smoke. I just found that this really did a great job on the smoke. It wasn't just gray, it was like a brownish smoke, right? Coming off like as if it's the dusty ground and stuff like that. And a little bit of Reichland flesh shade just for the face there. That was another color that was really hard to, that flesh color. And this demonic yellow on top of the blue again was a little tougher. A couple coats of that, and you'll be able to get it done. But then once I let it dry, I put a shade of, which is coming up, Fuigen Orange. I always call it Fuigen Orange. It's not just the way I like it. Or is it the Kazandora Yellow? That's actually the Kazandora Yellow. I was thinking I used the Fuigen Orange. But anyways, there you have it, folks. Bo Katan, painted, ready to take on whatever other squad is out there, because you can play good guys or bad guys versus good guys or bad guys. You can have a lot of fun with this game. It is a great miniatures game. Take a look at Atomic Mass Games if you haven't, and we'll catch you all in the next one.